How are you this morning?
I am very good this morning. How about you?
I'm okay. Every day I wake up wondering like, oh, do I have symptoms? You know? So
Yes. Yes.
yeah, thank you for joining. I was wondering, you know, if you had time to just go over what you guys are organizing there for
Absolutely.
masks. Yeah. So, can you take us kind of step by step? Like, how did this get started, and what are you actually doing?
You know, as I don't know if I remember exactly how it got started,
Hmm.
but I think I went on a site where they said making masks, and
Hmm.
that's what gave me the idea. So the way we built this was really very simple. I created a form in Google Forms for people to sign up. I posted it in Indivisible Nova West, where we have 1,500 members. Okay. And then subsequently, we posted it on other sites. Didn't look this morning, but over 40 people have signed up. Most of them are sewers. We also have a messenger thread with sort of the core team on it. So Pat Widener was one of Pat, is a quilter. So she knows lots of people who sew. So I think a
Oop.
lot of people came from there. And Suzanne has been recruiting people in Forkier. And so the thing is just growing. And as of this morning, we have raised $500.
Mm.
That's in less than 24 hours.
Wow.
So what we decided to do is we went to Deaconess Hospital because they had a pattern and a video on how to do that. And we said, we're going to make a stake in the ground, good, bad, or indifferent. Let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of people have material, sewers have material at home. Okay. But then we realized we're going to need things like elastic. So the whole thing about this is that it's the way we've always organized. It's totally organic. It's just flowing, hold it in. So this is like the projects I used to do when I worked, big technology projects. Nobody knew what the hell was happening. They were late and over budget, and it was just a mess. And so you start somewhere. You start with a little thread, and you begin to put the pieces together. So as we're doing this, we're realizing that we need more people to help with stuff. Example, Suzanne went to Joann's and bought more fabric. So now we need to get that fabric washed and ironed and delivered to Laura, who's our chief cutter. Right now, Pat is making, so for people who don't have material, we're making kits.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to make a distribution center for here where you can come and get your kits.
Mm-hmm.
Another thread we're working on is which hospitals will take these masks. I called Forkier Hospital yesterday, and they said absolutely. Okay.
Wow.
So now today I'm going to engage somebody who signed up to said she would help with distributing masks to create a spreadsheet so we can track which hospitals we're going to support and how many masks we sent them or something like that. I'll let that person define whatever it is how she wants to track it.
Mm-hmm.
So now that gives it a little bit more shape and purpose. But really, the real message from what we're doing is we have now pivoted from getting out the vote to getting out the hope. There is nobody but us. If I ever help another politician, hell is going to freeze over because they are totally useless.
Mm-hmm.
They are living in another reality from what's happening in the world.
Mm.
and we have to help each other. And this is what this is about. It's about giving people hope that yes, you can do something no matter how small. If a million people are doing tiny things, it becomes a big thing.
Yeah.
So that's really what's so important about this. So I've now heard from two different people. One is in, I don't know whether it's another religious community, I believe, and he wants to know, how did I do this? And I'm going to help him and share the form with him, because it can be modified to say whatever you want it to say.
Right. Okay. So let me just clarify. So you have mostly volunteers who sew. How many do you have?
We have over 30 volunteers that sew.
Okay. And then you have volunteers who don't sew but are doing other parts of the production.
Exactly. Yes.
And then you have people creating kits for the sewers so they can go home and sew them. And then you have
Yes.
people picking them up and distributing them to hospitals and other places.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you're kind of part of the, I guess, central command, and you're making sure that like this is all running smoothly, right? And are you spending time sewing yourself, Marilyn?
No, I don't sew. I don't sew. So
Really?
the most important thing about doing a big project like this across diverse
Mhm.
groups is you have to communicate. And that's why, so I have been communicating both on Facebook, in everybody who signed up on the form, because everybody gave us their email address. It's very important that you communicate what's happening,
Uh-huh.
because that's what keeps it together. So I'm now finding that I wrote yesterday's status report, and I posted it, and Cher posted it for me on Indivisible Nova West.
Right.
So now everybody, so we're getting donations from people who didn't actually sign up to do anything, but they're now starting to give money for
Wow.
that. And so the interesting thing is, so I tried making a GoFundMe. You
Mhm.
can't even get on that site. I
Oh,
tried doing it through Facebook.
mhm.
They're so inundated, you can't get it. So I said, and this is how I've always collected money when we did buses, is I said, send it to my PayPal account.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And now I have a list of everybody
Mm-hmm.
who sent money, how much they sent. If somebody needs their money back, it's easy to return it.
Right. Right. So there's some key elements here that were already established before the crisis. One is that you have a Facebook group and a volunteer group, local volunteer group called Indivisible Nova West, right?
Yes.
And you have been organizing with this group since the inauguration, since
Absolutely.
yeah.
We started this group in early,
Mhm.
maybe January of 2017.
Mm-hmm. So you have been organizing with these people on the ground and
Yes,
online for years,
yes,
right? During
yes,
during the resistance era.
yes.
um, so that's been established. So you were able to quickly mobilize that same group to do this, right? Okay. So I just want to make that clear. So this is something that's happening initially online, and then it's getting turning into offline local action of people creating the system, which is brilliant. I think the most important ingredient, though, is that people trust the leadership, like they trust you to just send you money.
Yes.
They know you're not going to scam them or abscond with the money. So they trust you. So there's already a lot of trust because you have been organizing, and others with you who work with you have been organizing. So people know you, and people like Suzanne and Pat and so on, right? So I just want that to be clear, that there's kind of been a history of organizing together, and this just didn't happen overnight. But I think there are some things that, even if they don't happen,
Right. And the thing is, it's
yeah.
come from being people, it's changed from people who had a common belief or or mad wanted to get rid of Trump. We are now all dear friends.
Mhm.
We are really a family, is what we've become. We know all about each other's lives. We
Yeah.
help each other. It just, so the other message here is it's critical that you lead by example. So when I went into DC and got arrested, I did that because I just wanted to show everybody it wasn't such a terrible thing. If I, 77 years old, can do it, anybody can do it. Because people need to be the fear, you can smell the fear. So by giving
Mhm.
deal with that, that's the thing I'm saying, is turn your anxiety into action
Yeah, that's great. And
and tell everybody whatever they're doing is the right thing, because we're living in a world where there is no right thing anymore.
yeah.
It's
I,
a new day.
so I know you learned so much as a result of the 2016 election and the kind of trauma and the crisis that ensued from that election, right? And and now there are new lessons to be learned because of this pandemic, and we're facing a new level of crisis. What can you kind of articulate for us, like what are the personal lessons that you've learned from the 2016 election and this pandemic? What's
The most important lesson that we've learned is you to persist no matter what.
mm,
And what you have to do is, if they put a roadblock here, you figure out a way you're going to get around that roadblock. You have to have your thinking cap on at all times. What is really different about this crisis is that you have to think on your feet, because everything around you is a moving target. And so you'd say, well, I'm going to do this. And then all of a sudden you realize you can't do that because that store is closed, or whatever it is. So you have to, and the thing that I'm driven by is common sense.
mm,
And that is critical, because the people who are very analytical and it has to be exactly this way and they can't understand, and that's my son and my husband, brilliant as they are, you have to be able to maneuver, because this is war. So
mhm,
this is not grassroots or any, that's crap. I am a resistance fighter. That's why I'm grandma resistance. And the other thing is, I stay really clear of any of these organizations. They're really bad,
mm,
not because they're bad people and they have very good intent, but the minute you have an organization that takes money from
mm,
other people, they now are driven by,
yeah,
and now we get what we had,
mhm,
what we had in the Virginia Senate did nothing about the environment.
ah,
So that's the other thing I have to say.
okay,
What this pandemic is doing is, it is a lesson for us
mhm,
about what we're going to have on top of us. We're just not paying any attention to it, and that's climate crisis.
yeah,
It may be that we are going to have to stay home periodically,
mhm,
because it is helping the environment that people are not going places. They said the air is getting better. So it's a lesson. Use it. There's lessons everywhere. You have to recognize them.
yeah. I just want to share this one thought I've been having, which is the word essential. Like, what is essential? Like, what is essential business? Who's an essential worker? What is essential to us personally? And it's kind of, in a way, helps to declutter a lot of stuff in our lives to really focus on what's really important, and so I personally think that
I
I think people are learning we need each other. You know, people need
Yes.
each other desperately.
Yes.
and,
Essential.
and that's actually a beautiful thing. And we don't have to compete with each other all the time, that we can cooperate, you know, and we need each other in this way, exactly how you're exemplifying it. So I thank you so much, Marilyn, for taking time. I know you're super busy
Thank
saving
you
the
for
world.
doing this. Thank you for doing this. It just keep going. And see, like you, like me, you just keep going.
Exactly. Yeah.
I
I
mean,
do
you know,
also want to high five you and Elizabeth Warren right now, because she is out there like truly fighting. Like she's coming up with ideas again, trying to solve problems again, and she's just a voice of reason again. And so I just also want to do a high five
yes,
with you
yes,
and
yes,
Elizabeth Warren right now.
absolutely. That's
She's leading. She's one of the few politicians actually leading the charge and
exactly,
with clarity
exactly.
about what needs to be done. So anyway, thank you so much, and a big hug to you. And
Same
please
here.
give my best to everyone in Prince William County and surrounding area. You guys are amazing, and I will check in with you again.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye, Marilyn.
Bye.